Remember a week ago when the Supreme Court overturned New York's concealed carry permit law? Democratic leaders were quick to claim the sky was falling. But I told you the decision was actually very narrow and would still allow the 6 states impacted to have various requirements to get the permits, and that they would be able to ban the weapons from so-called sensitive places. The 6-3 Supreme Court decision last week struck down the state's law requiring gun owners applying for a concealed carry permit to demonstrate a special need for protection outside the home. They ruled the law violated the Second Amendment right to bear arms and the 14th Amendment. That also invalidated similar laws in 5 other states. And almost immediately, leaders in New York said the ruling would lead to mayhem, with guns flooding the streets.
We cannot allow New York to become the wild, wild west. That is unacceptable.
The Supreme Court of the United States of America has stripped away the state of New York's right and responsibility to protect its citizens.
But lawmakers in New York State held a special session today to take up gun legislation. Democrats, with the governor, Kathy Hochul's backing, are seeking to ban guns from being taken into businesses unless they post signs reading "Concealed weapons welcome here." That includes stores, restaurants, and bars. New York would be the first state to make businesses post that guns are allowed instead of posting signs saying where they are not welcome. Handgun permits would also come with new requirements, including 15 hours of in-person fire range training. Background checks would be mandatory for ammunition purchases. And most importantly, New York legislators say this all abides by the court's ruling. In California, Democrats there are also looking to make changes. They want to restrict concealed carry permits to people who are 21 and older. Applicants would have to disclose all prior convictions, arrests, and restraining orders against them. They would also have to interview in person, provide 3 character references, and take firearms storage and safety courses. In both states, guns would also be banned from places like government buildings, hospitals, schools, and public transportation. California State Senator Anthony Portantino introduced the legislation, saying we're going to push the envelope, but we're going to do it in a constitutional way. But what happened to legislators in New York, California, and elsewhere telling us that the sky was falling and that the Supreme Court decision would lead to violence in the streets because everyone would have guns? Joining me now is California State Senator Anthony Portantino. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Appreciate it. All right, so there are some questions about the constitutionality of some of the proposals you suggest, but let's assume for a moment your bill becomes law. Could we then agree that the Supreme Court opinion wasn't nearly as big a deal as many in your party claimed?
Well, I think you're sort of conflating 2 things. It is a big deal when the Supreme Court rules bills duly passed and signed into law in states are unconstitutional with one hand, and then says on other issues that states have ultimate domain. So I think it is critical that the Supreme Court is showing a significant inconsistency in how it applies the doctrine of local control and states' rights. In this case, it ruled New York the Bruin case unconstitutional, and in Texas it said that a private right of action going after abortion doctors is constitutional. So I think we have to be careful with our broad statements.
But I actually didn't make a statement about that at all. In fact, I didn't say anything about the analysis that the court did. What I said was that a lot of people on your side told us that the streets were going to be flooded with guns as a result of this opinion. And now you have created legislation which you say passes the court's test. And my question to you again is, if it is constitutional, if your legislation does pass the test, then am I right that this ruling doesn't have nearly as much of an impact as many on the left claimed?
Well, I think it does have an impact because it's requiring follow-up action. I think the reaction wait. I think the reaction from people was, absent prudent decisions and prudent laws, you would have a proliferation of weapons. So what we're doing in California, and let me be clear, we were ready for this. Unlike other states, we had already positioned a bill waiting for the Supreme Court decision. Now, you're correct. The Supreme Court is providing us a roadmap to follow. Right. That's what we're going to do. We're going to take the Supreme Court decision and we're going to apply it to California's concealed weapons laws. And the Supreme Court was clear. You cannot be arbitrary. You can't say no just because. We're going to make sure that there are there's due process. We're going to make sure that there's, as you put it up on your screen, convictions, arrests, restraining orders, interviews, because most people don't want the person who is a domestic violence abuser or has a violent history or has restraining orders who can't get references to have a gun. So we're going to use the Supreme Court's decision for our roadmap.
But the court was clear on that, right? The court said that states will still be allowed to have certain requirements. The one I don't quite get how it's going to pass, though, is you're going to do interviews with people. One of the things that the court specifically said is that the discretion that New York officials had in approving or not approving was part of the problem. It seems to me that when you're talking about interviews, that's the ultimate indiscretion. I can't imagine that that's going to pass the court's new standard.
Unless the questions during that interview are, you posted X on your website, is that accurate? Is this really your Facebook page? Is it someone else's Facebook page? Are you John Smith or is it a different John Smith? It all depends on what the questions are during the interview. You know, it's totally appropriate for a state or a county to do its due diligence. The other thing that you haven't touched upon, which is important, California is a large state with many, many counties and many, many sheriffs. The point of my legislation is to create a statewide criteria, statewide, evenly, fairly implemented, applicable criteria using the Supreme Court decision. So we are getting away from this arbitrary decisions left to sheriff by sheriff in different counties. And if that's the point, empower the county, set state criteria, and empower the locals to implement it. And
if it succeeds, you're going to have to agree that the Supreme Court ruling did not have nearly the kind of impact that we were warned about, because you even said it. You were prepared, you were ready for it, etc. You've now created a whole set of new rules and regulations that can apply, and all those people who said there's going to be no rules, no one's going to be able to, anyone's going to be able to get a gun, right? It was all nonsense.
No, it's not, Dan. What we don't know is when you capture somebody in a situation by the old standard and they're not going to get captured in the new standard, we don't know if that person is going to commit a violent crime. You never know that. So, you know, this idea that we're capturing everybody, or all we're doing is the best we can to try to abide by the Supreme Court decision. And, you never know when you prevent something. But I will tell you that we also know statistically that the more guns you have in more hands, the more violence you have. And so the notion that the old system captured more is true. Right. This system will capture less.
Right. But
so that delta is the potential for
But that's not what Democrats were yelling and screaming after the decision. They were yelling and screaming about how...
I can only speak for myself.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. And you know what? You've done a very good job of it. State Senator Portantino, thank you very much for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, Dan. You be well. Be safe. Stay away from guns.
Coming up. And thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.